Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Holy crap, these glasses look like I'm the dude from Trailer Park Boys. Good God. Anyways, let's just take these off for a second. Mother Nature's not been very nice to us this week, so I haven't been able to get out and get anything filmed, at least running wise. I got Fool's Gold back here, and I'm doing a little reconfiguration on him, her, it, whatever you want to call it. I'm here in the confines of the truck to try and get this going because Mother Nature is still telling me it's like, no, you can't go out and play. Let me show you here. Yep, do a little wiper. Yeah, she's still dumping on us. Had a little nice little hailstorm that started about 6:45 this morning and lasted till about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. So yeah, got a good little bit. And you might, I'm not using a microphone today. You might be hearing it hitting the roof right now. But anyways, I wanted to get on here and show you what I'm doing with Fool's Gold here. I've already started tearing it apart. You can see it's still on its wheels and stuff like that, but I went through and I completely turned the skid around so that the motor and transmission are pointed the other direction, so it's motor forward now, which changed a whole bunch of stuff as far as like the suspension itself was moved forward a lot and gave me, where my shocks were already mounted, almost zero suspension on the front, even though, and then the rear shocks were pointed almost right straight up and down. So, oh my God, these glasses, they help, but God, my eyes look like they're the size of the screen. So anyways, I'm going to show you what I got going on. So we're doing a complete rebody on it too. So I'm reconfiguring everything to be just a cab only body. I got rid of the skids that were on there, so there's no skids on the frame rails, and we'll just pull that off of here. The only thing that kind of concerns me is when I flipped it around, it put my front drive line at a huge angle because the front pumpkin is offset. Because it's the F10 portal axles, and they're made for, the servo on chassis setup, which it still has, but it put the drive lines in a whole different spot because there's only one spot on this mount, on the skid mount for the transmission. So when you flip it around, it just moves it from one side of the frame rail to the other. You have no option to scoot it over or anything, which you don't really have the room anyways because it's sitting right there. And get you up here. I have spacers underneath the transmission to raise it up just that little bit because the motor is this big old freaking behemoth that I have with the Tekin HD. It's probably too big of a motor anyways because this is a 4200 kV motor, so it's too much. It doesn't seem to be, but being that it's only limited to 2S with this motor, I mean, you could probably run it on 3S, but it might burn it up. I'm not for sure. I'm still learning lipos and KVs and all that. I'm in still old school stuff. Brushed motors, winds, modified motors with timing in the can. Stock motors were 27 turn, single wire, 3-pole, sealed cans. You didn't mess with the timing on those, but you kind of could, but we manipulated brushes back in the day. So, doing all of this is going to change a lot of stuff, which like I said, is putting the motor forward so it sticks out. It takes up a lot of room. It takes up a whole heck of a lot of room. But I had to shim it up because of, no, now you're gonna get stuck in there, and this other link mount over here, because this is a universal skid. I had to raise it up so it wasn't rubbing on this, so it would actually sit down right and get alignment right on the pinion. But then I also noticed I thought that my frame rails were screwed up, probably from that. I was thinking it was like that big old fall that I had at Battery Point, that I one of the few videos before. Go back and see that thing fly off there. Well, it looks like me and the truck both fell off of that rock, and I didn't. Truck did, but I didn't. And I accidentally hit stop at the same time, so that's why I come back and have the little short one to sign off with. But anyways, it looks like my frame rail's tweaked. This one is really pulled in hard versus this one. Well, looking at it, I don't have anything in the skid right here where a link would be mounted. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'll just loosen all this up, because these frame rails get pinched in the front anyways for rigidity, because it's for the plate and all that. And I'll just put a link ball in there, and that'll help just keep that rail straight, straighten that rail back out. Probably can't really tell. Get the servo wire out of the way. You might be able to. Yeah, you can kind of see how it just kind of really kicks in, and this one here comes right off. Still a bit of an angle, but not as extreme as that. There's just nothing right there to hold that out, to keep it, you know. It still drives fine. You can't tell. It's a freaking crawler. It's not like it's a race car or anything and things get out of alignment. It's a crawler. So that moved everything, and you can see the drive line. Oh my God. I sat there and looked at that for several minutes. But it's still running smoothly. It doesn't bind up or anything anywhere in compression, through angles, anything like that. So good old MIP drive lines. Love them. Absolutely love them. So what we're going to be doing is, I'm thinking right now, because I kind of don't want to put skids back on here. That'll just give it a little bit better. And I'm doing cab only. So the cab is just going to be like right back here behind the transmission. There's going to be plenty of room. It sits right up in the cab. Awesome. I'll show you the cab here in a minute. It's not painted or anything, because I want to get my body mount positions and all that stuff set first before I do any painting. So what we're going to be doing is, and it's almost like it was supposed to happen, I can set this big old behemoth, and I thought also maybe I should do the old speed control in the motor thing too, and I might do that later. And this sits right down in between the rails and the servo so nicely and snugly right now that even without any servo tape on it, it doesn't go anywhere. I can set it up forward here like this. That's the highest point, so it sits nicely up underneath the hood. I can slide it all the way back here, because there's like a little nut here for the shock, and it just sits right to that nut, which would make it a little bit difficult to change the shock mount or anything. If I spin it around and have my wire mounts on this side, I can slide this right down past that, and I can put it all the way to the back of this plate, so it just sits flush right there. Put the power switch somewhere else. I haven't pulled that off of there yet, but it sits real nice right there. motor in there. I'm debating on whether I put my little Bluetooth plug back in there. I don't really need it to be in there. What I do with, you go back there for a second. There you are. My little bitty radio link receiver can sit right there so nicely. Everything is tucked inside the rails, up underneath the hood. Nobody with these new cars is not going to interfere with itself. All this new electronic stuff that I'm still learning, and a lot of you guys, this is what you started with and you're going with. If we did this back in the day, some of our cars would just go nuts, because they'd be reading all kinds of radio noise and all that stuff, and would be getting glitches like crazy. The crystals would fry and anything else. But that kind of looks like a pretty good setup right there. I'm still on the fence. I don't know whether I want to put my body mounts out here and keep them wide on the hood, or maybe move them in and scoot this forward and put the receiver back here. Put the speed control all the way up here, where my power switch is all the way up in the nose, which I still need to get me a bumper, which I'll get the Rock Pirates bumper and put it in there. And then the receiver can sit back here, which that way, if I do that way, I still have room over here to put the Bluetooth programmer also, if I wanted to do that. It's all looking pretty good. So let's show you what body we're using. I've had the body for a while, and it's a brand new body that was released a little bit ago, and as soon as it was announced that it was released, it hadn't been released to any of the hobby shops that I use online anyways. I have no hobby shops around here. My closest one, excuse me, they're like almost 2 hours away either way, between, like halfway point between Grants Pass and Eureka, and I'm not even sure if they would even have them anyways, because I think the one in Eureka caters specifically to Traxxas and not much else. I talked to them a long time ago to ask them if they had any, like Vanquish parts or anything like that, and they said no. They were pretty much exclusively Traxxas, and Traxxas had them sign a contract. They're solely contracted to Traxxas to deal Traxxas. That's not good. A hobby shop is supposed to be your local hobby shop, where you could go and get what you need for your car. Not everybody has Traxxas. Not everybody's a basher. Not everybody runs, all of that kind of stuff. I don't. I have one Traxxas right now. I did have two, but the Blazer went to a co-worker of mine. You've seen that video here just recently when we went out there and crawled at Super Bowl before everything started. That's his truck. He's loving it. He's still putting some scratches on it when he can. But that's not good. I don't like it. It might be good for them, but it's just not, I don't think it's a good idea. So, anyways, let's stop rambling again. And let's get up here and let's show you the body that I got. And I got two of them when they were first released. And I had to get them off of their site, because they hadn't, like I said, they hadn't been distributed out to the stores yet. So I grabbed up two of them so I could have them for doing whatever. And there you go. Can you tell me what it is? Can you tell? Can you see what it is? Oh yeah. scoop this guy, because that's pretty much where I want it to be. Back a little bit from that, but Pro Light Anvil. This is gonna be really cool. I'm not gonna run a bed on it. I'm just gonna figure out. I'm gonna notch the body down so where it'll sit right where it needs to be. See, it's a little bit forward right there. I want it all the way back to the frame rail, so when I put the bumper on there, it comes right up the nose. So I just want to notch the back of the cab to go over here where I can see over here, to notch the cab so it'll go over the frame rail, which means I'll have to notch around the driveline too. So, and I already thought, after I get it all set up where I'm going to mount it, get those holes made, however it's going to get mounted down. Hopefully I really don't want to put holes in this, because I really like this body. I don't want to mess it up with holes. I might try magnets, and I got some magnets in the house that have been laying around for years and years. So we might try that. Do a little, I don't know, maybe like some JB Weld or silicone or something like that. Something that maybe I can remove a little bit easier, and do it that way to get it mounted down. And then if there's enough room on the back side here, after I get it notched up both sides around the driveline or whatever, I want to go and put this guy back on there. This is supposed to be a pin that you wear on your shirt or your jacket or whatever. That's all it is. It's just a pin. And I just used the 2 posts, made some marks in the tailgate, popped the holes tiny, and put the little rubber ends back on there to hold it in place. So I'm gonna stick that sucker back on there. Still debating on the roof rack. Maybe, maybe not. What do you guys think? Yay or nay on that? I might sit it down completely flat, because I didn't use it last time. I set it up high like this because I was planning on putting a winch in this, and so that I could actually take and put the winch cable up here around this and do for side hilling and whatever. But never did use it. Well, never put a servo in it. So there's that. That's where we're at right now. I got some other links that I'm going to work with on the back that are a little bit more of a high clearance link. I got these moved forward a little bit so I can get a little bit more angle left on them. These poor shocks. I love them. They look really, really good, but these dang things just will not stop leaking. And so those Vanquish shocks, I went through, and these are out of the builder's kit also that I had. This is their builder's bundle that they did, I guess 3 years ago now. This is the first year that they did Trucks of Fortune. And I got one of the builder's bundles. So it had the F10 portals. These shocks were in there, and I went through and I ordered all the gold stuff, orange, gold, so it would match the paint job right along with my gold wheels, because those came as the wheels of fortune back then too. And these are the links out of the kit: the skid, the axles. Oh no! You just came undone off of the off the windshield. Oh, got too warm, I guess. Let's see if I can get you stuck back up there. Oh, dang it. Sorry, guys. Apologize for that. I'm going to abuse my audience. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, turn the heater off. Keep it from falling off of there. But yeah, the whole drivetrain is Vanquish, right down to the wheels. Then it's the Rock Pirates rails, plates, supports, and all that stuff. But these poor shucks, I have that axial base camp builder's kit that I haven't built yet. So I'm thinking maybe, and that's a straight axle kit. So I'm thinking maybe I might try those shocks on here, or I have a set of Desert Lizards. But they are long. They're 120 mil long. And I'm afraid that they're going to be too long for this, and it's going to just, they're going to unload way too much. But they're internal spring, and that might, I might be able to limit them a little bit that way with the springs. If I put like the long springs, firm, medium, light, whatever, in whatever configuration on each side of the piston, that might help to keep it from getting all weird. And so I got a couple of shock options that I can play with on this, but I'm wanting to try and keep away from putting the skids on here, just so that you can have just that narrower on the sides running up through there, body down. I'll trim the bottom of the body if it's down below the frame rail. I'll trim that off, but it'll be down inside, and I don't know, I might have to just put just a big old notch in the back of it anyways to keep it from hitting all that, because once you get past the drive line, then you're going to be worried about hitting the links. And anyways, too much fun. I love these things. I always have, since I started racing back in 98 or 99. So been into it for a little while. Well, not into it for a little while. I was out for quite a while and coming back into it, and times had changed, and learning a lot of new stuff as I'm going along. A lot of new stuff. I'm still trying to understand like I said, still trying to understand the whole KB thing, and getting that into my head from just dealing with brushed motors. That's stuck. I know that stuff, you know, hands down. That's no problem. Double, singles, quads, turns, all the timing, all that stuff. And I got way delved into that, and I'm thinking that I might get a little bit too deep into it again if I'm not careful, because I've been looking at a lot of vintage stuff for my vintage TC3 build to get that going, because I want to do it properly with all the time correct stuff. I already got a radio. You guys will see that later when we start doing when I start doing that build. I'm working on getting a speed control for it from back in the day. I'd like to either use like a Tekin 411P, or maybe a Novak TC2. One or the other. I used both of those back then. Loved them. Always loved my 411Ps. Those are really good ESCs. Awesome ESCs. So, got that going. We're playing with this. Mother Nature's being a pain in my butt, not letting me go out and play. So, there's that. And yeah. So I figured I'd just come out here and jump in the truck where it's still drying, and put a little face-to-face out there for you guys. Appreciate you watching. Hope you guys have a good day wherever you're at. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. Don't forget, check your subscriptions. That is still a thing. Some people are still, I haven't had any problem with mine, and I have a bunch of subscriptions, from all my RC stuff to old Cleater, and I haven't had any problem with any of that stuff yet. I'm not getting any of them been canceled. Everything's still on my list. But check, make sure you still got yourself subscribed, and if not, subscribe back up, hit the bell, so that you know when I'm going to be putting another one up. And guys, be good. Go out and have some fun. If it's nice out, get out there and crawl and fly and boat and drift, race. Get the buggies out. Go do some jumps. Get out there on the track and get some practice in. Same with you on-road guys. Get out there and get some practice in. Oval, on-road, whatever. 10th scale, 12th scale, pan cars, whatever. It's all good. I've raced all of that stuff. And all of it to me is absolute fun. Didn't too much do on the flying, but you know, I discovered that I like to leave my stuff on the ground. It was a little less expensive that way. Even though it is still pretty dang expensive. These guys are pretty pricey still. But anyways, be good, and we will talk to you later. Bye.